To the Sim Racing Hub F1 Championship 2024 season on GTCQ TV. This is brought to you by Color Magic Printing. I'm François Goulet, and alongside me, Matt Hartley, as usual. And leading the driver standings right now is Josh Mills with 19 points over our Janis Riera in second position. And we have Janos Magasrevi in third position, following with 152 points, followed by the two McLaren driver, Otto Acosta and Glenn Cooper, respectively, in fourth and fifth position. We are at Zandvoort. This is the 12th round of the championship. Old track, iconic track, old school track. And as I said, alongside me, Matt Hartley is here, and we have a lot to talk about, lots of topics to tackle. So, Matt, first of all, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Welcome to the Netherlands, or as I like to call them, the never won here lands. Unfortunately, I've never won on the circuit. In fact, actually, I think there's only one driver on the grid right now that has won, and he's won every single time that we've raced in this race, which is Janis Riera. So you said he's 19 points behind Josh Mills. The question is, will Josh Mills lead the championship going into round 13?
Well, if something has to happen for this not to happen, actually, 19 points is a big gap. So Mills would have to maybe have a DNF, and Riera would have to win, or maybe get just the second position. I think it's 19 points. But I think you're wrong on something, because I've read some statistics, and I heard that this round has been on the calendar since 2020. And for the winners, you would have, Ivan Georgiev. I think we spoke about him last week briefly.
But he's not on the grid right now.
No, he's not on the grid.
He's walking.
You got Mills and Riera. Mills won in 2023.
Oh,
and Riera in 21 and 22. That's where you're. Well, you were not that far.
I thought you were going to tell me that I'd won the race, and I mean that would be a shock for me because.
Yeah. I would have loved to been there, actually, to see you race in the other seasons. But I'm really, I prefer to have you alongside me, with all your knowledge of the game, sense of humor, and everything. So, yeah, I just want to tell our viewers right now, and thank you for joining, that I don't have the game sound, so I'm working on it. I might have to describe the race without the sound, but, I'm figuring it out. So, we just talked about the Drivers' Championship. We know that a lot happened, especially with our Janis Riera in the previous two races. He had a disconnection in the not the last race, but the one before. But he managed to finish with 7 points, or in seventh position, so in the points. And last week, he had an unfortunate incident with Janos Magasrevi at Les Combes in Spa-Francorchamps, which actually made him lose a lot of positions. So Mills really took advantage of that.
He sure did. And it was interesting when that happened, because it definitely felt like a racing incident at the time. Both drivers could have lifted. They chose not to. Both drivers paid the consequences for it. We thought that Riera paid more consequences than Janos did, but it turns out Janos' car was bent backwards after that incident. So that kind of put a damper on his race and allowed Josh Mills to cruise to victory through the lovely Ardennes forest. So we're on the other side of the forest this time, and we're actually near the beach in Zandvoort, over the sand dunes. And remember when we said last week that, or 2 weeks ago, that we had lots of time to. Sorry, 1 second. Janis Riera just put up a 108.8.
That's what you're looking at. Okay, well, this is a short lap. This is another really short lap.
But I see the next closest at a 111.3. So that's a little. Wow. Okay, that's a bit concerning. But anyway, we will dive on. We had lots of time to discuss the track and talk about each corner and what was coming up in the next corner and what we liked for breakfast. And here, there's no time. No time at all.
Exactly.
Like the middle sector is crazy. So we apologize when we go on board. We're trying to explain what is going on when we're already 3 corners past what we were just talking about, because there's just a lot of corners in a short amount of time. I got 14 corners. I don't know what you have.
Well, I had a nice track map, but I couldn't quite tackle the names. So I'm working on it.
Yeah, there's no chance.
Yeah, in all honesty, I had to restart my computer for all the technical problems. But I had a nice track map here, and there's no corner numbers, so I haven't counted it. But they all have like some good names. I like the Ari Luyendijk Bocht. I think Bocht means turn
Yeah,
probably
I think
because
so,
it's written everywhere.
So you're saying I can just get rid of that, right? And we can just call turn 9 Renault as opposed to Renault Bach?
It's Bach 9 in mine. So,
then I don't know. I don't know what we have.
our Dutch will, come out during the race. We'll improve on that.
I don't think it will.
Yeah, but you and I, we just spoke about what happened with Riera and Magus Revi. But last race was quite eventful. Especially, we got a few grid penalties, and we haven't seen that much this season. So I'm going to talk about the penalties right now, and you might just give your 2 cents on what brought that and what are the grid penalties, according to the fault, what's at fault. So first, I got Tony Mitsalis, who has 13 spot on the grid for penalties for blocking and cutting the track and gaining an advantage. So I think this is 2 penalties mixed together that equals 13. Is that it?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, there was several incidents. Blocking, probably 13 incidences of blocking. That was during the bit where everything got a little bit crazy with him and John Cook, who you'll talk about in a second. And then the cutting the track and gaining an advantage, that was just as plain day as you can see. So I think lucky boy for only a 13 grid spot penalty. That basically means you're going to start at the back of the grid.
Yeah, pretty much. And so Captain Cook, 10 positions for causing a collision. That's the event that we saw at what you call Rivage, and I call it Bruxelles, but that's the long hairpin after Les Combes in Spa, a nice corner that I like. So that's what happened at the end of the race. So 10 spots for Cook for the Alpine team, and then you got Elise Tape that has also a 10 grid spots penalty for failing to returning to the pits after the end of the race. For the 3rd time this season. So it's just an accumulation of this particular fault that gave him that 10 grid spot penalty for this week. So this is the penalties that we have today. So these drivers, they're more than likely will start between 15th and 20th, except if they can, put a rabbit out of the hat. Other than that, Jacopo Cardoso is still replacing Richard Walkout for Ferrari. So we have seen him, I think, two races in a row. I say 2 weeks in a row. It always feels like it's last week, but so 2 races in a row. And we have to mention that Zandvoort, has been on the calendar since 2020. So it's the 5th race here, and I heard it's planned to be replaced in 2025 for the next season, because I know the SimRacingHub F1 Championship does not do all the calendar. There's a few races that are in the regular calendar that are not in. Yeah. Too
many races. Too many races. I mean, listen, I love you, Francois, but there's a certain amount. Personally, I can't stand too much time with Yas. So that's what the problem is. 20 max. No, I'm joking. Yes, I love you. But I think of all the tracks to get rid of, this one's a fun one. But I think we're not going to get the same action tonight as we got at Spa. So if we do, I'd be amazed. But we will see some great driving and probably some big crashes, to be honest with you. Because
I would assume so.
Grass, there's going to be there's off-camber corners, there's banking corners. You get your little Nordschleife turn 3. Yeah, I think it is. You're
talking about the one that looks like the carousel, right? The banking one.
Yes.
Let's tackle the track. But first, we're gonna have it's 4.259 kilometers. It's 72 laps. So as we said, it's a really short lap. Pretty much the same time as Red Bull Ring, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like time-wise. And we have the tires C1, C2, C3 on the specs. So those are the hardest, I think, right?
Should be, yeah. And we also want to mention that, last race, I think the reason why last race was the best race so far this season was because we had Color Magic Printing with us.
Of course,
which we have with us again.
Yeah, thank you for sponsoring.
That is the best source for printing flyers, business cards, postcards, direct mail, posters, and just about any printing product that you can imagine. So hit up Color Magic Printing on www.colormagic.biz if you need any printing services. And hopefully the luck will continue. We'll have another great race here today.
Yeah, well, I do hope so. So yeah, speaking about that track, it's a track that came back on the calendar recently because of I'm gonna say that one guy, Max Verstappen, because he's Dutch. There's a lot of Dutch fans. It's a track that used to be on the calendar way back in the day. I'm a big fan of the history of that track, especially because my boy Gilles Villeneuve did some crazy things at that track. I don't know if you saw that, Matt, but I want to point out there was a great overtake on Alan Jones at turn 1 on the outside of the curve that was just insane. As we see the drivers lining up for the quali. And that's the race also that he went off track and came back on 3 wheels. Wow. So if you've never saw that,
take a look at that. One thing that you're going to have to take a look on right here is Argenis Riera is not the first man on track, ladies and gentlemen, for qualifying. Yeah. You know why? Because the game, it looks like, has put his entrance to the pit lane out of the back of the garage and not the front. So he actually had to do a longer way around. And as a result, he actually came out in third. He's already dispatched the Ferrari, but Montero is actually first. So somebody has finally beaten Riera out. And the question is, do you want to go on board with Montero because he's the first one out, or do you want to go on board with Riera, who's probably going to put up the fastest time?
Well, I would love. Well, Zeke Montero is at the last corner right now, and he's starting a hot lap. I think we have to give him props. That's the first time we can have that, so let's go see him because he's quite fast. So we'll see his the start of his lap or his whole lap, and then we'll have to see what Riera's doing at the end of the lap, because since he's not in front, we'll have maybe half a lap of seeing him. So we'll see the difference. But I'm with Zeke Montero. Unfortunately, still no sound for me. But this looks like a really tough track, very narrow. No time to really relax in this track.
No, definitely not. And you can see that Zeke's still not feeling fully confident to hook up every single corner. He hasn't hit an apex since last June so far in this lap. There's one, but it's okay because honestly in this circuit it doesn't matter as much. But I would think that Argenis Riera probably will hit those apexes. This is a wonderful chicane. It's downhill. It's got a little bit of elevation change in the middle. You can see Zeke really unsure about when to get on the throttle in that Mercedes. That's a beautiful hookup. And now we're going to go through this flat out final turn, which is always good fun. Another little bit of banking. So let's see what time he's going to put up. It is a 108, so it actually is faster than it looked from Montero. It's not fast enough to beat Argenis Riera, though.
Well, I'm looking at Riera right now. Really smooth in the corner. And we have someone on the live, Mr. François Lépine, who's talking about a Russian rookie. Well, that good history, man. I'll look at that later. But thanks for joining in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we're hoping that you guys are going to come and be with us, ask us questions, tackle the topics during that race. As usual, we have a few viewers, but I want to point out 2 things, Matt. Is that I saw the viewings from the last race, and it's above 200. So people are watching us sometimes after the facts. So I would like to thank you all for tuning in, watching. It's really appreciated to have people and not doing this for breadcrumbs. It's really fun. So I would like to thank you, and I would like to thank Jas, because we don't give enough props to Jas in the booth. He's always there. You feel his touch, but you don't hear him, but you can feel him because he's always there. And look at that, Riera just came back in the pits. So did he abort that? Okay, no, he's got the pole.
No, he's already back. That's how short his lap is.
Oh, wow, okay, that's incredible.
He's already back. We were talking about at Spa that, you don't have any time here. You can see cuts, but watch Riera here. Comes out of the back of the pit lane.
What?
And then what is going on here? Around the...
Oh, well, I know why. I know. This is easy. It's because it's such an old track that I don't think they have all the pit boxes that you would
That's
normally
crazy.
need to have to comply to the regulations.
That's very interesting, and we'll see whether that makes any impact on the race. Janos Megasrevi went P3, so the usual top 4 contenders at the top, but not necessarily in the same order, because Josh Mills will be needing to go out again with only a 109.4. Elise Tape, great job in 5th, doesn't count, because he's going to get a 10 grid spot penalty down to 15th. So, that's unfortunate, because it's not going to affect John Cook. The captain loves to lead from the back anyway, and it's not going to affect Mitsalis that much, because 13 place penalty is going to put him at the back anyway. But Elise Tape will definitely feel the pain of this penalty today.
Yeah, Tape has been doing very good since the start of the season, so this penalty will not help him. But he can cope with that and maybe give us a nice remontada, like I like to have.
100%. So let's see who's going to be lining up for a lap. I'd love to go and build with Josh Mills just to see what his car's looking like. Very slow outlap for Mills, not wanting to take anything out of these tires. Now he really guns it onto the back straight. I love when drivers do that and time it perfectly. So we're going to come up through 7th gear, 8th gear for P4 Josh Mills into turn 1. Going to brake 60 meters before the corner. Does hit the curb, gets to slow down. You've got to be very patient on the throttle. You don't want to use too much curb on the exit because you're quickly into turn 2. You've got to line up turn 3. He really flicked it back. He went very far. Too far.
Almost lost it there. Yeah.
It's going to hurt him all the way down this flat out section.
Definitely.
Until you get to this fast section here. Oh, it's just beautiful. It looked so much more hooked up than Montero's was. Oh, a late apex. He's going to be running out of room. He kept it on. That front tire is going to be torched as he had to keep the lock on all the way through that corner. Now around the kind of slow, clumsy section of the lap.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a struggle right there, yeah.
Turn 10, very slow. Then we're going to go into the 11, 12 chicane. Lots of curve.
Nice piff path. I love that one.
100%. And now we're going to go into the turn 13, which I cannot pronounce. And then we're going to go into turn 14, which I also cannot pronounce. And we're going to go down the Pitland Straight, which I can pronounce.
Oh, the Harry Luyendijk Bocht. It's easy. Harry Luyendijk, famous name. Don't you know?
No.
He
Josh
was not.
Mills, I do know.
Was it not? Yeah, do you know Mills? Because I have Kumho and Harry Luyendijk, so it's not that hard. I think you have different corner names, perhaps. All right.
I've just started to pronounce the French names in La Lancette. Let's go with that.
Right. I got a trick for you. You say variante bassa.
There you go. That'll work. Right. So it looks like Riera improved again. 108.0.
McLaren Acosta off track. So gently moving out of the way.
P7.
Another track. It's Janos out of bounds too.
Oh yeah, Janos is in the kitty litter.
And just pointing out the previous pole winners here, we got Riera in 21, 22, and 23. But before that, we have a guy, Corey Mackey, which is not in the championship anymore. Yeah, Corey Mackey.
Yeah. So Corey was in the championship for quite a while. American driver. Used to love driving for the Haas team because they were an American team.
Yeah.
Great driver. Little bit aggressive at times, but always gave good excitement and won many a race. And I think that's where I may have got my statistics a little bit wrong. That Argenis Riera dominated the pole positions, but Josh Mills snuck out the win in 2023. So
Gotcha.
That's what happens if you don't read, kids. You got to read the fine print.
I'm still trying to get the sound from that game. I might not have sound at all during that race, and I just don't know why.
Is off. He's in the gravel, P6. Lalancette just went for a little bit of a ride.
Let's go see him.
Back on the circuit, he's going to go back into the pits. That's always embarrassing. Yes. And he's not going to get enough time to get another lap in, so...
Yeah. Did he have damage? Because I thought he brushed the wall while trying to get in, back into the pits.
He did not, as far as I could see. Josh Mills has got some traffic ahead of him. This is something that we haven't talked about yet, but traffic gonna be a real problem.
Oh yeah.
Because I would think that the aero wash And just the distraction of having a driver ahead, even if he gets out of the way at this circuit, you don't need anything on board. And Mills is going to have to clear these two guys before he goes on his other lap. He's going to have to back right off. I just saw a mover. Bill Worrell, I think, just moved up to P8.
Riera's in a lap right now, but he's got the pole by almost a second. So, yeah, and Zeke Montero in second. Janos in third, not far from Zeke Montero. So the two teammates now, because Zeke Montero is definitely with Mercedes for the rest of the season, like we mentioned the race prior.
Let's go on board with Janos Magosrevi because he's right behind Josh Mills on circuit. And when I mean right behind, I mean right behind him. So these two guys are both going to improve their times or try to, and they're going to be next to each other. So if Mills makes a mistake, Magosrevi is going to be there very, very quickly.
That's true. He's, I think, just far away enough to not have that aero wash that you're talking about.
Yeah, Magosrevi went very, very tight. Ooh. Oh, he's turned in a few times. He's not really sure in that tight.
But then Mills time on Mills. Yeah, Mills.
He went way too wide. He went way too wide around that turn. Turn 9. He definitely
Mills is getting bigger and bigger. Oh, a little correction here from Magosrevi, but not that much. But yeah, Mills is getting bigger and bigger in Magosrevi's screen. Not too much curb. Yeah,
he missed it. Don't think that was a good lap. So both of these drivers may actually be slowing each other down, or Mills may be slowing Magosrevi down. Mills has kicked up a little bit of dirt too, which won't help. I don't think either of these guys are going to take Montero. Both failed.
Okay, no, one yielded and one just took that extra piece of draft, but neither improved except Riera improved.
He was a 108.990 was his time, and he did a 109.032. So he couldn't find a tenth of a second, which is all he needed to get Montero. But Montero's going to hold on to P2, which I think is going to be the first time we're going to have a Riera Montero front row this year. And that used to be the front row a couple years ago, every single race.
Well, now that we have Mills, who's leading the championship at 19 points in 4th position, and he's got the two Mercedes teammates separating him from his main target, Riera, this is going to be exciting. This is going to give us maybe a good opportunity to have a good show. And because Riera is very much in control. He has, lots of poles, lots of wins, but that unfortunate events led to his, a few demises, and that's why he's 19 points behind. But I'm surprised that he is 19 points behind because he was so in control. He's, he's such a great driver, and every time we see him drive, it's just almost pitch perfect.
Yeah, I think if you told me that Riera was 19 points ahead of Mills, that's kind of more what it feels like.
Exactly.
The season has been like.
Exactly. Yeah, so, I'm there with you on this one.
38-point swing, but at the end of the day, to finish first you have to finish. So we'll see whether that can change. Oh, Riera did break in 7. Look at that.
Yeah, exactly. 107.883. So this is exactly one second, almost better than the second position. So that shows you how much he's dominating. How much he's dominating that season. Well, I'm saying dominating in speed wise, but everything can happen in a race. That's what we like. There's a lot of events that could happen, and especially here, the track is really narrow. We saw in the quali a lot of mistakes happening, a lot of corrections. So personally, I've never done that track. I've watched it a lot when I used to watch GTM cars. That's the track that they used to do back in 2000s and 2010s. But I've never did that track, and it looks really exciting, Matt, to do. It looks like a challenging track, pretty much like Hungaroring, maybe, always having to turn. And it's narrow, so you talk about incidents. I think we're going to have a lot of DNFs, a lot of
Yeah, well, we had quite a few people in the grass in qualifying there, so I would think that that's usually a bit of an omen. So I think it's a strange one. It's a kind of Suzuka, but Suzuka even has more of a flow than this
Yeah.
track does. So you have a bit more time to get into the section. You know that
Yeah.
when Suzuka's going fast, it's left, right, left, right, left, right. Here,
Yeah.
when it's going fast, it's left, right, left, right, square, upside down, hexagon. Like it's a lot going on. So this one's just a little bit wild.
And you can rest. You can rest in Suzuka in a few spots, which you cannot do here.
No.
But narrow-wise, it looks like the same kind of width for these two tracks. So yeah. And I'm looking forward to see that.
72 laps around here. That means that 72 times you have to go through that fast section. So although the race time might take a similar amount of time to do, was it 44 laps around Spa and 72 around here, the race time is going to be about the same. But the difference is it feels like you're doing a lot more laps because at Spa you only have to pass through Puan 44 times. Here you have to pass through this section almost double that. So if there's a corner that your car's not particularly friendly on or that you don't like, then you've got to go through it 72 times. So that definitely is going to create another challenge for everybody.
And so the weather forecast today is, so far it's sunny. But it's the Netherlands, so we never know. We might have some surprises during the race. It can happen, and it can lead to tire strategies and different situations. Like we saw in Imola, was always calling the gray clouds in the skies, and I think Riera heard me, and that's why he failed to change his tires and lost the race on a bad tire strategy. I take the blame for this one. Sorry, Argenis. I thought I had it. So we are a few minutes away from it's the warm-up. So there's 3 minutes left in the warm-up before the start of the race. And I won't have sound during that race.
I can make it up for you if you like.
Yeah, you can make the light sound if you want. I don't mind as long as I can see. It's better to see and not have sound than have sound and not see, because
that would be a little bit difficult for sure. So
yeah,
I think what you just said actually is something that I want to talk about more, which is the threat of rain, because there is threat of rain here later on. So that is going to make a difference on strategies, because if it rains, you do not need to use both compounds of tires if you use a wet tire. So will drivers just run the soft tires and run the soft tires again and hope that it rains? Or is anybody going to be brave enough to start on the mediums and take the gamble of it not raining? So it's going to be very interesting to see if anybody doesn't just go soft and kind of wait for the rain to come and then put the mediums on if it doesn't come. Because that's the safest way to probably play this, because you would hate to start on the mediums or the hards and then it start raining and you didn't get a chance to use those red soft tires.
Well, that's a good gamble to have. And do you have any idea how many laps you can do with each compound, or you haven't tackled that?
I do not. I think wear here is going to be pretty, I say pretty high, but wear this year has not really been a problem so much on the front tires. The rear tires has been. But I think that the challenge here is that the tires might go a little bit longer than we would think. However, if you lose just a little bit of grip from those tires and you end up off the racing line on this circuit, you can end up in the wall.
Okay.
So it's not worth the gamble as much. So it'll be interesting again to kind of see how everybody kind of plays that out and see what different strategies there are. The undercut, I think, would be very powerful here.
Oh yeah.
If you don't get traffic. If you get traffic, it's going to be horrendous. So it's all about timing.
That's where you need maybe a crew chief, some a helper, a spotter, somebody to help you, maybe with the gaps in the pit deltas. So yeah, having that overlay and having somebody behind your shoulder to tell you, okay, if you pit right now, you're gonna come right in front. And we know that there's no pit incidents. There's no like extra time in the pits because it's a game. So we're almost there, ladies and gentlemen.
And I want to say about the spotter, kind of like we have with Jas here. You know, he spots us on different battles that we miss. He kind of needs somebody like that. Didn't you say that he was your engineer once?
Yeah, we used to spot each other when we were in the same team. So I was his crew chief. He was mine, and we used to do that a few races when I started in the GTCQ Championship. We were in the ZRT team together. So I remember one time he changed the tires and he failed to take fuel because he pressed twice on the X button. So yeah, that was unfortunate for him. But he was leading the race, I think, or was in second position. Yeah, he's laughing. I hear him laughing. Yeah.
You
So
just
yeah,
brought back all the bad
yeah.
memories.
So
Ruined
after
his
that, I
day.
was like, okay, don't forget, don't press the button twice. You got plenty of time. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's always fun to have a good spotter. So we're gonna have the warm up lap in a second. Cars are gonna go around the track, and we'll go through the grid. You and I,
True.
as usual.
As usual goes. So I will start with the pole position as we're waiting. There's 26 seconds before drivers have to go to the lap, and it sounds silly, but you actually time when you go to the track because you don't want to go too late in case all of a sudden you realize you haven't put fuel in the car. You have enough time to quickly go back to the garage to put fuel in. But you also don't want to go too early because you don't want to be sitting there and the engine overheat or heat up, and so. At the end of the day, usually around that 15-second mark. But here we go. We're going to go and launch with the grid. And once again, this is brought to you by Color Magic Printing, which is quality printing services and fast turnaround that you can depend on. And one thing you can also depend on at Zandvoort in SimRacingHub is Argenis Riera being on pole position.
Oh, yeah. So he's followed by Zeke Montero in the Mercedes team in second position.
The lead Mercedes driver. I told you, Janos is not getting the number one job back in that team anymore. And last week, it didn't work out that great either. So Yanis Magistrevi, the second fiddle Mercedes driver in P3.
Followed by the leader in the championship for the Red Bull team, Josh Mills.
Oh, double TO in the orange McLaren is in P5.
And lucky as I am, Jean-Pierre Lalancette. No, you're lucky not to have to pronounce his name in sixth position for the Red Bull team.
I get to pronounce Bill Worrell in the Ferrari, P7.
I got to get Glenn Cooper for the McLaren team, Acosta's teammate, in eighth.
Jacobo Cardozo in the Ferrari once again, replacing Richard Walker in P9.
Señor Fuego, Juan del Castillo for the Alpine team in 10th position.
Oh, it's hot. Sean Higgins, my favorite position, P11, Reed Williams.
Yeah. Followed by Ricky Haney, his teammate in the Williams team.
Coming off a stellar drive 2 weeks ago in Spa. P13, needing a stellar drive at some point this season, Ricardo Sr. Otherwise, he'll find himself out of Aston Martin.
Yeah, and followed by Stefford Brotherson. 14th
the
position.
lead alpha today, and there's gonna actually be a driver in between the two alphas.
Yeah.
The only way you can separate the two alphas is by demoting 5th place 10 spots, Elise Tape, to 15th in the Haas.
Yeah, I think he'll find, thread the needle and bring back the two alphas together. Cliff Bentley Ward in 16th position.
Jeff Oppenheim in P17, the second of the alphas.
Don Cook, Captain Cook in 18th.
And Tony Metsalis in 19th. So this just proves that if you both do what you did in Spa, you end up at the back of the grid.
All right, the drivers are lining up on the grid. We're waiting for the lights to look at that. There's a little bit of grid mishap.
Oppenheim, he was out of order.
Yeah. So we're waiting for the lights to turn red.
It's gonna be intense.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be
tight.
And we'll tackle the tires as soon as we have that confirmed. 5 lights out, and the race is on at Zandvoort. And good start from Riera, and Montero skid a little bit, and there's a crash. Elise Tape is crashing at the back of the pack. There's a crash there. Multiple cars
there's
involved.
Lots going on. There's so many cars in the crashed. Back up front with the leaders. Mills managed to somehow get into P3.
So
that was crazy.
Yeah, this is a single file right now. Not much. I'm trying to look mid pack, but something happened in the middle of the grid. Mid grid, like 15th position, and Elise Tape and Stefford Brotherson might be out of that race already.
Wow, there was a lot going on at the start. Mills got a great start and actually almost went 3 wide, but there just wasn't enough space into turn 1.
Montero spun his tires. That's what I was trying to say. I think he had a bad start, just skid, had a little skid. And
He did.
yeah.
Yeah, he's down to 4th. I missed that.
Not good for him.
Yeah, that qualifying job. And Janos Magosrevi, as I said before, the lead Mercedes. He will always be the lead Mercedes driver in P2.
I think I heard exactly that. So he's within a second of Riera, so he will have the draft right there, and he will be able to take advantage of the. He's right in his gearbox right now. So the race is on, ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely is, and Janos is on the hard tires.
Yeah, and, that's impressive.
Riera's on the soft tires, so Janos is all over Riera, even though he's got 2 compounds harder.
Is that sometimes is it accurate? Because sometimes we have a little time and a little bug that shows us a certain tire compound, and it's not really that. But so far, the colors are still the same, so I have no information that it wouldn't be that.
And it's usually sorted out by now, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, they just turned red.
Oh, are you talking about Janos?
Yep, they just turned red.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so Riera's still red and Janos red. Yeah, so you see that. We cannot really depend on the colors until maybe lap 2. Maybe because it's such a small lap, such a short lap, that it didn't happen that fast.
Well, still good nonetheless for Janos, but he's going to be within DRS range for Riera.
But look at that. There's already a gap that's been created between second and third position. But I think Mills he's on the soft compound as well. So everybody's on soft, I think.
Mills is struggling so far to really hook it up around the circuit. And sometimes you have those circuits where you think, this is not really my circuit. But Mills won last year, so it's surprising.
Look at the back marker. Brotherson is already a lap down. So, traffic from the get-go. This could be a problem.
100%.
He's really slow. I mean, look at that. Oh, yeah, that happened.
To be honest with you, I completely defend Lalanset on that one. Get him out of the way.
Oh, yeah, Brotherson was a sitting duck. He was parked in the corner on the apex. I mean, at this point in the race, this is so unfortunate that having a back marker involved in a crash at the start. I mean, he has all the right to be on track, but at this point, I don't know. Just get out of the way as much as you can.
I think Lalanset tried to go. He tried to go left. He tried to go right. And as you said, he was a sitting duck. I would say he was a sitting pigeon.
On the apex.
He was a sitting pigeon, and he got shot with a shotgun is what happened. And
hey, did you see that? We got our sponsor, Color Magic Biz, on track. Has a display on the start-finish line. I like that. I like that little display.
Oh, that's a quick turnaround for SimRacingHub that they are able to do that. And this just shows the effort and the work that Janos Magosrevi, who is the commissioner of the league, puts in. And I think, it's always worth a note that he's very fast on track, but he's also constantly working on how to make this league. He even gives us tips and heads up of data. So
we appreciate, and he's a shrewd operator. So good working here. And you see that. Look at that on track, around the track. There's the Color Magic Biz, our new sponsor. Thank you, Color Magic Biz, for that. By the way, we're really excited to have a sponsor with us for this wonderful season that we're having, actually. So Riera leading with more than 1 second now. So he's out of DRS range. But look at Magosrevi. He's not going anywhere. He's really putting the pedal to the metal right here.
For sure. The biggest question will be, is Riera saving his tires more than Magosrevi is? But so far, good job. Let's go on board with P8, Juan Del Castillo, because he's very, very close to Glenn Cooper in the McLaren. There was a pass also further down the circuit. That's probably because somebody came into the pits. Oh no, there's still side by side. There's some action going on side by side. I'm not sure who it is. It's
Higgins, the senior. Sean Higgins and Ricardo Senior. Turn 3 right now. A turn that you can really have several lines, I think, in it.
And Captain Cook is right behind him, so he's actually avoided the contact, and he's looking to redeem himself with a good race here today and a clean pass on Ricardo Senior maybe. So this is some good action further down the field.
And Del Castillo is right on Cooper's tail, so we might have the DRS for the the start finish line. And Richard Haney is actually very close from Del Castillo as well, so we might see these two drivers trying to make a move on Cooper.
Trying to make a move on Cooper, ladies and gentlemen, is like trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat. It's not easy to do. And oh, you could see the wash. Oh, Castillo! Oh, he's off. Oh no, and he's got hit by his team. Oh no, it's Haney.
No, Del Castillo. He's almost on fire. No, he's parked on track, so this could end badly.
He got hit. I think it was by Richard Haney as well.
Ah, unfortunate.
There's a front wing off of the track. I think that's Castillo's.
Yeah, that's Castillo's.
Take a look at Haney's car.
He's in the pits.
Yeah, Haney's still got his wing. There's the first incident, and we saw that he was trying to get on the power to overtake Glenn Cooper, ran too wide, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, well, I want to mention that Elise Tape is already out of this race. So that crash at the start on the right side of the track, left side of our screen, the two cars, him and Brotherson, really tangled together, and I think Tape was just squeezed up. Haney and Worrell fighting it out.
Worrell's looking for a place to pass. I
but
just need a place.
behind.
There's no place to pass around here. You're gonna have to wait.
His teammate is right behind too, Cardoso in 10th position.
Worrell's going to be too far behind, I think, to get by Haney. Unless Haney's got some damage.
But right behind Higgins and Cardoso. Look at that. Sean Higgins taking advantage of the draft. The porting. Oh, wow. Okay, so he did not. That's a really short straight. So you don't have much time to operate.
Every single part about this circuit is really short.
Oh, yeah.
Seven laps in.
7 laps in. This is crazy.
So 10% of the race is almost done already, and I feel like we just started talking. I haven't even been able to ask you how your day was yet.
Well, I'm on vacation actually, so my day's okay. I'm relaxing with my kids right now.
Oh, Higgins ran wide.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. But Cardoso, even that, Cardoso has lost a little bit of ground on, from Sean Higgins. So Higgins is right on. Almost lost it there for Higgins. He's in the dirty air, but he's closing the gap. Cardoso's closing the gap on his teammate, and Higgins is closing the gap on Cardoso. So something's going to happen there within a few laps.
We need Worrell to make a pass. It looks like Haney is holding up this train right here. Let's see if Worrell can get closer to Richard Haney. Richard Haney is defending from the stream, trying to just break away from it a little bit.
Yeah. I want to mention that Riera's gone, and every driver from 1 to 7 are in no man's land.
Yep.
So we're watching the mid-pack. That's where the action is.
You have to be careful when you say Riera's gone, by the way, because sometimes he actually disappears because of connection issues. So
yeah,
it scared me when you said that.
Good one. But yeah, you got that right.
So after all that craziness at the start, we had what we thought would happen, which was a crash. Unfortunately, Elise Tape shouldn't have been that far down on the grid, obviously.
You're right.
That's probably what caused this incident. But after all of that happenings, and Mills got a good start, and Janos is up to 2nd, and Zeke's down to 4th, Sean Higgins went from 11th place to 11th place. I don't know how that happens.
Oh, well, we got an update right there. It's Sky Screen, so I think it's Elise Tate that is writing us because he's out of the race. So he's usually very active on the chat when he's out. So he says, got sandwich at the start, and then at looking the wrong way, turn 3, race done. So, yeah. Unfortunate. And that, it's not exactly like when we say yellows brings yellows when you watch like racing in North America. But if you start, the further you start at the grid, sometimes the more likely you have to be involved in a crash. The exact same thing when you watch a NASCAR race. If you're at Talladega and you're within, 20 to 40 instead of like being 1 to 10 or 10 to 20, you're more than likely being involved in the big one.
I would think that Tate being down in 15th place with the speed that he showed in a great qualifying is kind of like putting a NASCAR on a horse racing circuit and getting a start and just trying to avoid a crash happen there. So didn't obviously happen, which it sucks when Tape's race was probably 20 seconds, 25 seconds maybe, and that's not something that we want to see. But
not even. I think he didn't even race at all. It lasted 2 seconds. He was in the wall. Maybe tried to
say one thing though. John Cook, obviously, he's a lucky boy to be racing today, I think, after what happened last week. But he's making the most of it. He's up to P12 already. Yeah. He's having a very, very nice drive so far.
He's in a fight with Ricardo Sr. That's what I was looking at. But I'm looking at Haney, Worrell, and Cardoso. So 8, 9, 10. And look at that double pass. Whoa, inside contact. Contact between Cardoso and Haney. Little elbows here. I don't know if there's any damage on Richard Haney's car or Cardoso's.
That car's got to be blue. Oh, wait, it is blue. It's a Williams.
Yeah, already. So you got the two. Oh, you got Ferrari versus Williams. Red, blue, blue, back to back. So from 8th to 11th. Reminds me of a 1997 season. Don't know if you recall, but Ferrari versus Williams, that used to happen.
And then Williams changed their colors the next year, right? Went with that weird red.
Yeah, they might, yeah. I mean, Williams have changed colors a lot along the years. My favorite part was the 1990s, of course, with Rothmans and Renault. But remember, you had that BMW back in the day, and you got that red car Winfield in 1998. So Haney's having problems now. He went off track a little bit.
Yeah, I think that car is
probably damaged. Oh, Mills and Zeke Montero, look at that. Third and fourth.
Higgins is off the track. Higgins was having a good race in P11. He's down to 13, which means John Cook is up to P11, ladies and gentlemen.
Sean Higgins in the grass?
He's in the sand, actually.
Okay, that's not the lawn mowing that I'm used to. But Mills and Zeke Montero are close to each other. Zeke is on the attack for Mills, so
Mills is struggling.
Yeah, we're watching that. And not that far in front, Janos Magasrevi is there, but he's stuck behind. We already have back markers, so that's soon in the race. As we said, it's such a short lap that I'm not surprised.
Not getting out of the way.
Oh no, this is not happening, and Magasrevi is losing quite a big chunk of time here. Finally getting rid of Metsalis. Unfortunate for Magasrevi, I think. Oh, you might have lost maybe 2 or 3 seconds there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What about Mills now? So Mills and Montero is taking advantage of that traffic. So okay, this is going to be actually fun for us because we'll see that traffic negotiation, going on, and then maybe creating some situations. And that's what I like
for drivers, but very, very good for commentators.
Of course, I experienced it. We had an endurance championship where we had GT3 and prototype class. I was in the prototype class, so I had to cope with all that traffic. And sometimes it goes your way or it goes the other way. So I mean, but it's fun. It brings another dimension to the race.
For sure. So Montero and Mills is definitely a good fight to be watching here.
Well, they're catching Janos.
Yep. Well, Janos is catching a lot of traffic.
Yeah, Riera lost a second, so he might have encountered some traffic, but I think he might be just very careful, Riera. He doesn't need to be aggressive on the back marker pass since he has that much of a gap in front.
Not here, not at Zandvoort. Yeah, at Zandvoort, you want to just make sure that you clear the back marker.
Exactly.
And, unless for me, I would take my time around them a lot here. If somebody decided that was racing me that they would try and take an opportunity while it was happening, they'd probably be upside down in the wall. So I think it becomes that point where it's like these drivers all have to kind of understand that while you might want that amazing pass, probably not a good idea to do it at Zandvoort. Like, it's not Spa-Francorchamps going down the Camel Straight.
Well, there's a thing I just noticed. If you're a back marker and you're getting out of the way and you're slowing down to let the leaders pass, the thing that happens is that this track is so narrow and the corners are, so close to each other that if you slow down to let two guys pass, sometimes they're so slow, then there's another guy that wasn't there, quite at the same time, but is arriving so fast that you cannot get out of the way in time, and then you're just like a sitting duck parking, parked at the apex. So it's really hard for the back markers as well to negotiate with that situation.
Yeah, it just shows. I mean, when you've got Argenis Riera out there lapping 1 second faster in qualifying than the next closest driver, I mean, that just shows the pace that some of these drivers have. So if you're new to this league, or if you're someone that, is relatively still quick at sim racing, you can find yourself a couple laps down at this circuit, no problem whatsoever. I wouldn't be shocked and surprised if Riera lapped all the way up to P5 today.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing as in Monaco, perhaps. And this is, that doesn't mean that the other guys are super slow, but if you're like 1 to 2 seconds faster each lap, this is going to show at the end of the race for sure.
Yep.
So Bill Worrell and Cardoso in a race for 8th position, 8th and 9th. We're still watching. They're Cook and Senior are not that far from each other, and 2, 3, 4 are close to each other as well. Within a second of each other for 4th and 3rd, and Magus Revi is 6 seconds away, behind Argenis Riera. So this is the things that we have to watch right now, and we're just hoping that some battles will unfold before
we got
our
both
eyes.
Ferraris right here, 8 and 9. So Jacopo Cardoso in 9. He's going to be right close to his teammate coming down the straight. We'll see how much
DRS
they fight each other.
So is that long enough? Because look at that. He's already on the brake. So he's just positioning himself maybe for the next lap. And this is the corner that I talked to you about, the first turn where Gilles Villeneuve overtook Alan Jones on the outside, that is. On a little slide, man. You should see that. This is like pure genius from Villeneuve back in the day. A lot of control from that driver, man. You really need to look it up. Worrell and Cardoso still fighting, nose to tail.
Better pass there. Definitely wise from Cardoso. It really disheartens you to lift off when you get that close finally to a driver, but especially when that driver's your teammate, you definitely have to lift. So Cardoso just looks like he can drive tighter. He is definitely eyeing up where he could do a pass on Worrell. But Worrell, I will say one thing. The turn 3 kind of mini carousel banking corner, because drivers like to go around the outside of that turn, because that's the fastest way to do it, you can put a move up the inside at that turn if the driver in front is not paying attention. Well, Bill Worrell was definitely paying attention, because if you see Bill Worrell's line around that turn 3, he's very, very tight. He's not giving Jacopo Cardoso any chance going into turn 3. Jacopo...
And Worrell got distracted a little bit by that move, yeah.
Watch this. Here we go. Jacopo's going to try and line him up for a turn 3. Worrell's just going to defend to the inside. No chance. He sees that coming a mile away.
Good corner exit by both drivers, but you saw Cardoso just pointing his nose, and Worrell saw him in his mirrors, and that he made a little mistake because of that. Just slightly maybe broke a little bit too late. Hit the brakes a little bit late here.
Yep. And the thing is, too, is it's distracting for both drivers. If Worrell is checking the mirrors, it only takes a second to touch the grass and be out of the race. And if Cardoso is too close to Worrell, these drivers have to use the cockpit view, so you don't see the apex of the corner. So it's a lot more challenging than it might look at first glance.
So that's the battle we're still looking at for 8. And Mills and Montero.
Senior's out of the race, sorry.
Oh, wow, you're right. Yeah, DNF. And go Brotherson, Tape, and Senior. I don't know for Senior what happened, but we have a fight between Zeke Montero and Josh Mills. So this will happen, man. I think. Oh, no, Montero's out.
Oh, that's
Zeke Montero. He's in the wall. He's in the wall. Did he touch the wall?
Yep. He's in the wall. His car is going to be very, very bent. Very, very bent. That's all it takes.
I did not see him hit the wall. I saw him go off track, and then I saw him. I saw him getting back on track, but I didn't see him hit the wall. If you saw him, it looks like he's struggling with the control. Oh, he was so close for Mills. He would have had the DRS at the next start-finish straight. So unfortunate for Montero. It didn't lose a spot here, but I think he might have to go to the pits to correct.
Pit, yeah. No, he's going to keep going.
Not even.
Going,
those cars are tough. Woo.
Well, yeah. I don't. I think that. Oh no! Yeah, he's struck. Yeah,
I have no clue. Yeah, I have no clue how it feels. So maybe you can tell us exactly when you hit a wall like that. What's going on with your car right after that?
It's like seeing your ex-girlfriend with another guy.
Oh, okay.
It's just that feeling of all of a sudden the reality of. Hang on, am I going to have to drive 50 laps around this circuit with a car that wants to turn right when I want it to turn left? Or do I pit, which is even worse because then you have to sit for 20 seconds. But I think this early on in the race, I think if I was Montero,
exactly.
I'd be looking to pit, to be honest with you. I think Montero is fast enough that he could recover back to P4 potentially, rather than trying to hang on to P4 now for the rest of the race. So, but it just shows that how difficult it is to get close enough to make a pass here. And this is why I think SimRacingHub is saying that, you know what, next year, if we want to get rid of a circuit, this one might not make the cut.
You're right. I well thought about that. And we can see, so Zig Montero just did a 112.8, and the last lap by Josh Mills is a 112.5. So does not suffer that much from that crash. And you were pointing out that when you got a crash early in the race, you really need to address whatever damage you have. And I remember having a crash in Le Mans with a prototype, and I lost my front aero, just a little bit of aero at the front, and I was losing 4 seconds a lap. That showed you, and because that's a long lap, and you need that aero, especially in a prototype. So, I mean, you have to pit, because 4 seconds a lap, you know, you don't want that. I mean, just your 20 seconds, you got it in 5 laps. So do the math.
Yeah. I mean, I think if Montero either didn't hit the wall, but I saw him hit the wall pretty hard, or the potentially the damage is turned down a little bit at this circuit. Sometimes that's happened where we've turned the sensitivity of the damage down on some certain circuits, obviously to try and get them, like Monaco, for example.
Yeah,
you know, you might turn that sensitivity down just a little bit, just for Monaco. So not too sure on that one. I'll have to get back to you next week or next race on whether that's the case. But yeah, Montero's actually handling that car. Wasn't it one of the Mercedes a couple years ago that was so bad that when they actually lost the wing or had some damage, that they actually found some speed? I think it was in like Hamilton's McLaren or in his Mercedes. And, when it was in that porpoising year where they were all bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and it was. I remember seeing that. That's kind of what it feels like here. It's like, you know what, Montero's got a new lease on life. That his car all of a sudden is doing better.
And in the meantime, Cardoso is getting real close to Bill Worrell again. The Ferrari drivers fighting for 8th position. So Cardoso will be setting himself up for a pass with the DRS because he's right on Worrell's tail right now.
We haven't seen any overtakes so far except for ones on the front straight.
Exactly.
Acosta's out of the race.
Oh!
Acosta, P5.
What happened with Acosta? We're missing a lot of things, but we're not watching drivers that are not in the active
they're on their own. Yeah,
exactly. And now look, Cardoso might have made a mistake because he has lost maybe 3 to 4 car lengths on Bill Worrell, but they got the position. Now they're fighting for 7th because we lost another car in the person of Otto Acosta. This is unfortunate. Sorry for the McLaren team, because now that we know that the McLaren teammates are really strong together, they're going to get back on the points and maybe create a little gap with the.
It could have been back markers, or it could have just been a mistake. I think there seems to be a lot of that happening where drivers are making mistakes on their own, because we told you how difficult this circuit is. And John Cook and Haney, Richard Haney, he's having a baller race. You see the P9?
Yeah, good job. Good operation by Captain Cook. And on the live, Elise Tape tells us that, the good side is that the penalty is gone, so he'll be cooking something for Monza. Well, I can't wait to Monza. Monza's going to be exciting, man.
That's when you're trying to put silver lining, right?
Yeah.
I guess so. The penalty would have been gone anyway. But I mean, I think that Tape at Monza's a really good track. Everybody really, really enjoys Monza. So
yeah, Monza's going to provide us with
when is there only a 1 week break?
I think it's right now. I think it's right now.
Is it Monza next week?
Yeah, I think it is. You know what? Just give me a few seconds, and I'll get back at you with that.
While you're taking a few seconds there?
Exactly. In a week, we're at Monza. So I'll be on vacation still, coming back from a fishing trip, and then in a week, we'll be at Monza.
So if this is going to happen to you at any circuit where you're out of the race after 20 seconds, you want it to be this one because
probably,
guess what? You can get right back onto the horse and go again next week.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. You don't have that 2 week to just eat your nerves and just waiting for the next opportunity. You can have a go at it. And look at that, both cars. Oh, okay. I thought both cars would go into pits.
Well, Mills caught up Janos quite a lot. It looked like. So Janos is pitted.
Oh, look at Mills.
Is he
sliding? Oh.
He did use the tires more than expected. So let's see if Janos comes out in traffic or if Janos comes out in clear air. Janos has put the medium tires on, so he's not going to gamble on the rain.
Well, it's sunny right now, so I don't see any any rain forecast in the skies, and I don't,
look at the clear air that Magus Revi has come into. That is that's like a filtered
Worrell and Cardoso
right
now. Cardoso on the inside of Bill Worrell. Again, not quite there. And Zig Montero getting out of the pits right in front of him. They have worn tires, but they have worn tires.
Montero's not worried about that for a second.
No, exactly. He's just getting out of Dodge.
Perfect timing from Montero to pit.
True that.
Cardozo's going to have to do something crazy to overtake Bill Worrell, but I don't think you want to do that on your teammate.
I think I'm going to see Mills getting into pits because he struggled with the tires at turn one. Yeah, exactly. There he is. So
very, very fast entrance. You got to be very careful not to.
And Riera's getting out of the pit when Mills is getting in, so he has a pretty decent gap.
Magus Revi will have got the undercut, so I don't think that Mills is going to be able to overtake him here. It's going to be fairly close.
I'm looking at Magus Revi right now, and Mills
is on the inside. He will.
This will be close.
How did he do that?
Nose to tail, but Magus Revi has his tires warmed up, so let's see.
How did Mills do the overcut on Magus Revi?
I have no idea. Especially when he lost. Yeah, he lost time in turn one. Magus Revi, Mills did because he slid a little bit. So I don't know.
Possibly a mistake, or maybe just because he put the medium tires on, a bad gamble from Magus Revi to go with the mediums.
Well, they both have Mills is just getting out of there. What's happening?
What a great job by Josh Mills, because if Mills can finish second here today.
Oh, that's good.
That would be
damage limitation. Yeah, damage limitation. We both thought of the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, that would be. I think. What do they say? Get out of Dodge. I don't exactly know what that means, but I think
it's an American expression.
Is it get out of a Dodge because like a Viper will kill you? Is that the idea? Or?
Yeah, perhaps it's that. Yeah, I would presume.
Or is there a city named Dodge? I'm gonna have to look up.
I think it's something like that. But look at that. Mills is Yeah,
he's all over the back of him. But I mean, we already saw a mistake from Mercedes trying to overtake Mills.
I got it. It's actually an allusion to Dodge City in Kansas, which is a busy cattle town in the late 19th century, notorious for gunfighters, gambling, brothels, and saloons. So you're getting out of Dodge, yeah.
Sounds like my hometown.
Yeah, right. Not like mine. I'm in Quebec City. This is quite calm and cozy. But now, with the rain and everything, the Montmorency falls are quite heavy right now, and there's a lot of water around our province.
No wildfires.
Getting better. Cardoso and Lancet. Look at that. Ferrari versus Red Bull for 7th position. Lancet in front of Jacobo Cardoso. So Cardoso, not with Mercedes anymore, right?
And he's also not with Bill Worrell anymore. So what happened there? Because
there might have been a pit stop. But Janos is
seconds.
Yeah.
Well,
Really?
what is going on with Cardoso's car? It's stuck in 4th gear. Cardoso's car is stuck in 4th gear. Listen. You can't listen. But
I can't listen. No. But I'm looking at Mills and Magasrevi because they're close to each other.
He's going to have to pit here, but I don't see any way that's going to get fixed.
So you can actually break your transmission, your gearbox like that. Oh
yeah, this is going to break. It's going to break in about 3 laps. And he still can't. He's still in 4th gear. I think he's going to have to retire the car.
Yeah, probably.
Cardoso there. Gonna try and fix it.
Well, he broke his gearbox. Hey, remember? I think Ayrton Senna did that back in the day. I think he had like only 5th gear for a decent amount of laps, and I think he won the race. Something like that.
For sure. You might see Jacobo Cardoso come back out here because he might go back to the garage, check the settings. Maybe he pressed a button or assigned a button to a gear or something has happened, and then you might see him come back out. But right now he's just sitting in the pit lane admiring the sound of the other cars, which unfortunately
that's unfortunate for him. Yeah, you can easily lose a lap here when you have a mishap like that. And Magasrevi and Mills still stuck together, 2nd and 3rd position. Magasrevi not letting Mills getting out of sight. This is interesting. This is the battle for 2nd position, ladies and gentlemen. And on the live, not a lot of writing. We have 10 people watching live, so we're going to have more after that, so they won't be able to talk with us. But usually we got no specifics. Josh Mills' girlfriend, but she arrived late last week, so maybe it's going to be last race around that week. Might be the same thing here. We got Elise Tate watching us. I had my friend Lipin come here that came here early just to try to make me say some stupid stuff, and that's all we have on the live right now. But so you can always talk to us. We'll be pleased to hear about you. And Richard Haney in 9th position is about to be lapped by the 2nd position. So far we got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 we got 7 drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, and it's only 28 laps in. You can see Haney got way out of the way very early on. He's also going to get out of the way here now for Magasrevi. Yeah, perfect. That's experience of how you do it. Captain Cook is in P8. This just never-ending surge for the front for Captain Cook. I don't know what breakfast cereal he's had today, but
Captain Crunch.
Yeah, there you go. He must have had something because he's just absolutely on fire. Maybe he's driving Castillo's Alpine. Maybe that's
perhaps. Yeah, exactly. Senor El Fuego's car. But look at that. We got 5 DNFs so far, and we're not even halfway through the race. So, and there's no battles except maybe like Cook, Haney and Cook are starting to be close to each other, and now Cook is behind. Is between Magasrevi and Mills, and we want to see. Oh, look at that. So Cook, Cook stayed there. He prevented Magasrevi from having the draft from Josh Mills, but Magasrevi had the DRS open. That's the thing.
Yep. So it's been an interesting race so far. We haven't mentioned Jean-Pierre Lancet at all, but he's getting great points for Red Bull right now. So this is going to be another one of those races where Red Bull outscores Aston Martin, even though Argenis Riera is going to likely take the checkered flag first. So he's going to get 25 points. Mills would get 18 points. and then Lalancet would get 15 to 10 points.
Oh, look at Nazalis. You're just trying to get out of the way. So, well, we can take advantage of that situation just to address the team standing. So Red Bull Racing is leading with 295 points over Aston Martin Aramco, who has 222. So that's 73 points over. That's a lot of points, and that's where Lalancet, points.
It's been a great number two.
Exactly. Ricardo Senior has yet to produce points. So, hey, Richard Haney on John Cook, turn one, and they tangled together, both of them in the kitty litter. What just happened there? So,
That's so disappointing.
Whoa! I'm looking at them. They're still in the kitty litter, getting backwards. So they might be able to. Yeah, they will be able to get back on track. But this is. Sorry for the team standing. We'll get back at that. But John Cook and Haney. I think Haney let Cook by. I think he knows that was his fault. But he went on the inside. They barely touched, but that was enough to make them just go straight forward.
Well, a desperate lunge for a pass around a circuit where you have to take your opportunities, and we've seen that turn one is really the only place to pass. So
definitely.
I think that it just was a try too hard, but Haney gets out of the way right away, and then Haney goes ice skating a little bit, but he got out of the way right away. Let Cook back past, and Cook's back into P9, albeit with Sean Higgins now up to P8.
But he's got Senor Fuego, John Cook's teammate, right behind him. So Juan del Castillo wants to get that point. Wow. He's in 11th position, your favorite position.
Car.
And look at that. Lalancet he has traffic to negotiate with, but these guys are racing, so they're not gonna, yield or give anything to Lalancet because they want that position too.
Ugly.
Yeah. Let's look at this. This might turn ugly. We never know. And look at Lalancet. He might, be the victim here. We never know. Okay, so he's on the inside. Well done by Del Castillo. But look at Del Castillo might be disadvantaged by that. Just trying to make the good thing, do the right thing, and then Haney right there to take advantage of that slowing down.
Haney's car, though, the rear of that car almost looked like the two back wheels were locked together. It was sliding around like crazy. So maybe he just got some dirt on his tires, or his tires are used. But we'll see whether he can kind of fight back. But you'll see Haney. There's a few times where he's been skating around the circuit. So
look at Mills.
Does make a move.
Mills and Magus Revi as well. So
back up to the front.
Yeah, Magus Revi. Oh, look at that. They're close to each other. Insane. That's crazy. Good racing. That's what we like. So Magus Revi in the dirty air.
Oh, Mills is leaving the door wide open at turn 3. Like this is like when you leave the garage door open at home overnight and you don't realize it. Mills has got Magus Revi will have seen that into turn 3 and think, you know what? If I get close enough out of 1 and 2, I might go ahead and try and put my nose up the inside of 3.
Yeah, but what about the cornering? If you do that, and the guy in front is still got the outside line, he'll be able to, I think, keep enough momentum to get out and just slingshot himself out of that corner.
Usually, but I mean, what does he have to lose? So the question is
right.
Sometimes it can happen where distraction happens, and maybe Mills sees him coming at the last minute and gets on the power too soon, gets sideways. So you never know. You gotta make magic happen to see magic. So let's see what Magus Revi can do this time around.
Yeah, well, he was a half second behind. He's closing the gap. He's trying it. He's trying it. Oh wow! Well done. Well done.
What a pass.
Mills was really acted like a gentleman there. Didn't defend or anything. And that was on the inside. Oh wow. Oh, this is good. This is good racing. So well done by Magus Revi.
The lead of the championship there go up in smoke and decided, you know what? Magus Revi is coming. Very, very bold move from Janos, who had the collision last race with Genis Riera. Not saying that one was his fault, but that was a bold move to make on Josh Mills, and it paid off.
Yeah, and Mills, wisely not defending too aggressively in order to be able to keep his car in one piece. And I mean, it's not over. This race isn't over, and Mills can do. We have seen him doing undercuts, comebacks, and he's right on Magus Revi still.
He's going to get back.
Exactly. I think this could go on for a while. All right. Oh, he's right there. Not even a problem.
Yano's still going to try and hold it around the outside. Now he's going to let him go. This is how you do it, ladies and gentlemen.
Fun stuff. Great action from the two drivers, Red Bull and Mercedes. Look at that. Yeah, he's pointing his nose, but look at how Mills got that corner done. Slingshot himself, good momentum, great corner exit speed.
I don't know which one of these two is faster than the other. I honestly, every time
they're pretty much
one overtakes the other, I think, he's going to drive away, and then he doesn't. So this is very interesting. These two drivers must be doing very, very similar lap times and have the same comfort level on the tires. We know that there's only 1 lap difference in tires. The DRS doesn't make that big of a difference here, so this is just pure speed that they are very equal on. Mills is much better than Magus Revi around that part of the lap, though, I will say, through that chicane.
Well, that's what we needed, because we're craving for action. We had a lot of action in Spa. A good track that provides a lot of overtakings and situations. This one, the situations provided are mostly crashes, but that's not what we really want to see. But look at Mills. He's creating a little bit of a gap over Magus Revi right now. So we're back to square one.
And Mills' line around that turn 3 is sensationally beautiful. I will give you that.
And the difference between the two drivers is about 0.7 of a second.
Another guy we haven't talked about so far today is Glenn Cooper from McLaren. He's in P6, overtaking a back marker right now.
He gained 2 positions from his starting spot, Glenn Cooper.
Quiet race for Cooper.
Exactly.
But he's still on the lead lap for now. I don't know how long that's going to last, because Argenis Vieira is coming across the start-finish straight. So he's still a sector away from being lapped.
Well, Cooper is in no man's land. He's 7 seconds now behind Lalancette and 17 seconds in front of Bill Worrell. And we saw that he has a lap over 9th. So the difference between 6th and 9th is a lap. That tells you how good of a spot he's in not to be threatened.
Back to this battle between Mills and Magus Revi. So both got the medium tire on, so we're definitely not thinking about going to the end anytime soon. How long did those soft tires go? That was what you were asking me early on, so let's see.
Yeah.
Looks like Magus Revi went lap 23, he pitted. So it's quite a long time. The medium
those are short laps, yeah.
Medium should be able to go 30.
Oppenheim and Haney right now. So Haney over to Jeff Oppenheim for 12th position at an unusual spot on the track. But Oppenheim doesn't seem to be going very fast. But now he did recuperate a little bit of speed. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe a mistake. Yeah.
Very unusual place to pass, but
exactly. But look, we got Mills and Magus Revi. While we're watching Oppenheim and Haney, we see Mills and Magus Revi behind them. So they're going to catch them. There's going to be traffic now for not our leaders, but our second and third position. So those are the leaders still. But yeah, so we have to keep an eye on this. So now Magus Revi is in Josh Mills' gearbox, nose to tail, and they're going to have to negotiate that traffic, and they're fighting for position for 13th position.
And
so this is going to be interesting.
You might be seeing some of the boost or the engine brake. I forget what it's exactly called, but where the brakes regenerate the battery. And you might be see some battery use going here between these two drivers. Because all of a sudden, Magus Revi comes from nowhere on the back of Mills. And then when you think that he's going to breeze past him, Mills responds. So it might be just different use of battery packs here. And this is everything that's going on. The cat and mouse game, the Tom and Jerry game as we call it in SimRacingHub, between these drivers. That it might seem like an easy, boring race to some people, but every single part of this lap is calculated from these drivers.
Look at Magasrevi is really close. So half a second.
He's gonna be in range for another bold pass if he wants to do it, but
he could.
Mills sees it coming this time.
Yeah, defending.
Yeah, Mills sees it coming.
Oh, look at that on the outside doing a Gilles Villeneuve. Oh, you know, at the last second, decided not to go through with that. That's wise. I think it's really wise. But look, Metzalis is there, another back marker to negotiate. 2 wheels in the grass. Well done.
You got to do what you got to do. This is great driving from these two. Like this is Magus Revi right now has got to have a big smile on his face, because this is just when you find a driver that is this equal to you in speed, and you're both able to kind of give the old tit for tat and do it in a clean way. This is just what makes sim racing so fun. This is what
exactly.
For.
I'm with you on that. That's what I like. Finding a driver your caliber, and then you do wheel to wheel and exchanging position. Comes down to racecraft and opportunities and how you negotiate these, and how patient can you be. Sometimes you can. I've raced people sometimes for 5 or 6 laps and waiting, 1 lap before the end or 2 laps before the end to make my move. And that's what's fun about sim racing, yeah.
And you sometimes you might go half a season before you find one of these battles on the circuit, and it can be a battle for P2, which it is today. It can be a battle for P15.
Doesn't matter. Right? Yeah, the fun.
Yeah. I've had many races that I haven't had the pace or haven't done a lot of the practice, and all of a sudden, I've had a great race for P12.
I'm looking at Cliff Van Leeuwarden and Juan del Castillo right now because they're in a fight, and Mills and Magasrevi. Somehow Magasrevi maybe had a little bit of trouble because he lost like a second on Josh Mills.
Could have been the
so we were talking, maybe no. So and now Magasrevi might be setting himself up for a late undercook. I saw cook undercook. No, undercut.
Undercook.
Sorry. And we got Son Jose. Hi everyone on the live. So hey, what's up, Jose 82? Welcome.
You're spending a Thursday night with us.
Of course. We're having a nice summer, but now there's a lot of traffic. So much traffic on this track. Yeah, I like that traffic. Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, I see a lot of traffic because as much as the race is going on, now people are spread, alongside along the track. So what's happening is that you have traffic every 2 laps. You encounter
every single driver that I see on board right now. There's a car in front of him, and that car is not racing him.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. Oh, Cook and Cliff Van Leeuwarden still in a fight, so they're gonna arrive at the last corner. Yeah. There will be a DRS pass perhaps here.
The 13-minute juggernaut of Van Leeuwarden.
Cook's still in front. This is close to each other.
Cook goes defensive into turn 3. Oh, you got great exit, Van Leeuwarden. There's nowhere to go here, though.
Well, he's on the soft tires, and Cook is on the mediums, too. So there's a difference there in the compound.
Big difference.
Look at that negotiation. Well done by both drivers. I'm watching just the gap between Mills and Magasrevi, still 1.5, 1.6 seconds.
I wonder how many drivers are going to finish this race today. It could be one of those where there's points up for grabs, even if you do put it in the wall. And if you can kind of, coax the car home, it might be one of those where there's 11, 12 finishes. So,
well, we're past mid race right now. But still, there's a lot can happen. As we said, a lot of traffic, back markers, and corners that you can make a mistake and just lose it. We have seen that, and it's so hard to pass that we're gonna have maybe I don't recall which track it was, but maybe just a Monaco number 2 when some people were so aggressive on the passes because it was hard to do. So at some point in the race, everybody was trying like everything to be able to make that pass.
Yeah.
Even if it meant, 50-50 crashing their car or just like, coming back unscathed.
Monaco, everybody tries to do a pass out of the tunnel into the chicane.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because you simply cannot make a pass there because there's a ginormous bump that I think Kimi Räikkönen got him one year, right, where he went sideways in the Ferrari on that bump, and that's a real thing. So I don't recommend trying to pass there. One place in Monaco I've actually managed to do a pass is actually going into Rascasse, right at the very end of the lap. Mm-hmm. You can get a good exit and slingshot through the chicane and sometimes catch a driver out. You need to get your elbows out a little bit, but I don't recommend a pass out of the tunnel. It looks fantastic if you can do it, which is never.
Oh, look at Cook. John Cook, I think he was looking backwards, clipped the grass at the end of the start-finish straight, and now Cliff Van Ewart is on his tail.
Cliff is trying to find a place to go. Cook's going to go defensive. Cliff would be better just going right around the outside there and getting a good exit.
He's got some speed. He's got some speed going out of corner, and they might touch.
There's just nowhere to go through that section. Both these drivers getting points right now, of course, so neither of them want to throw those away. Especially because I think this will be the first time this year that either one of these drivers would score.
Oh, well, Cliff is losing the car. He's in the barrier. So, yeah, we did that. But he kept his position. Now his rear right. Will it will it sustain that hit, or is there going to be damage?
There's probably damage, but we have seen, I think Montero's hit was probably harder than that. So I think we're going to have see Cliff for another day is what we're going to see. So
well, now that battle is gone.
I wonder where Cliff Van Ewart is from.
He's actually, I think he's from he's from Montreal, the area of Montreal. He's a Quebecer, so he speaks French, like me.
Van Ewart, it sounds almost like a Dutch last name.
Yeah, I think it might be of Dutch origins or maybe Belgian origins. I don't know. That's a lot of letters,
13 letters.
Yeah.
Seven vowels.
I think it might be from Saint-Hyacinthe, Quebec. I'm not sure, but he told me once because we spoke like a few months ago, but I don't recall. But I know he's from the Montreal area.
There you go.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. Hey, okay, you got to know one thing. In Monaco, I remember a race, like give or take 12 years ago, and the guy name was still is Adrian Sutil. He was driving for Force India, if I'm not mistaken. He overtook two cars in the same race on the outside of the hairpin, the hotel hairpin, the slowest corner in all the F1 calendar. He managed to do that. What an achievement that was. And I never see anybody talking about that, but I remember witnessing that live on TV, and I was like, whoa!
It reminds me of, I think it was Kobayashi who did the passes. I think he did 2 or 3 at the Suzuka hairpin on the inside.
Oh.
And it was like every single time he came behind somebody. The problem is you do that once, and you might get away with it. But to do that a second time, when a driver knows that it's coming, because the team will have obviously told you that he's done that before, so that makes it twice as impressive. Usually the second time is when you end up collision, because like we saw with Magasrevi and Mills. Magasrevi launched up the inside of turn 1, and then when it came down to doing it again, Mills went defensive because he'd seen that move before.
Well, Kobayashi, unfortunately, he had troubles with the money, and I think was driving for Caterham back in the day. And but a very fast driver, according to his peers, and he's actually doing good in sports car. And we have seen him on the NASCAR scene maybe once or twice, because he was doing the 24 Hours of Daytona and things like that in prototypes. But he's actually a very fast driver, and he raced a few NASCAR road courses in the previous years, so we might keep an eye on him. We might see him here and there in the North American scene.
And a lot of the Japanese drivers are really quick, to be honest with you, because I mean, Takuma Sato went to IndyCar.
Oh yeah, right? Exactly.
He won the. Did he win the Indy 500? I think
twice.
Twice. Wow.
Yeah, he won the Indy 500 twice, if I'm not mistaken. And he was in Formula One back in early 2000s with BAR, so in Super Aguri. So yeah, a good fast driver, Takuma Sato, another respectable Japanese driver. Love him.
Sonoda apparently is just as quick as those guys as well, but I think he's just too raw.
Yeah, well, yeah, Sonoda. I have faith on Sonoda, and as I say that, I'm looking at this. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to mention. It's getting darker. It's getting darker, ladies and gentlemen. We might have a little. Oh, look at Captain Cook and Cliff. Cook. What's happening with Cook? Oh, there's a front wing at the exit of the pits, and look at that. They're side by side at turn 3, but there is a front wing sitting at the exit of the pit exit. At the pit exit. Period.
So I'm going to be on rain watch here. I'm British, so I feel like I'm qualified to do that. And I'm going to watch this little graphic at the top of the screen that says 0% rain right now. And I'm just going to keep an eye on it. And if I see that number go from a 0 to any other digit, I'm going to start singing like a singer in the Sydney Opera House. So,
all right.
We won't talk about rain, but if you hear me sing, that's what's going on.
Oh, Del Castillo following John Cook. So the two teammates for the Alpine fighting for the last point right now.
Castillo's trying to... Oi!
Whoa, side by side, last corner. Whoa! Going 3 to 4 Gs, and look at that. There's a Ferrari lurking in the shadows. Can he thread the needle and make a pass? Bill Whirl on John. Oh, well, no, that's not even for position. Wow. Look at that. He's about to lap these guys. Yeah, he's about to lap these guys. But they might not even know that.
This is crazy. I thought that he made the greatest pass of all time, but turns out he was just lapping again.
Exactly. So that's another reason why I have to be really careful about what's happening, because you don't need to be that, take that much of a risk in order to pass these back markers. I say back markers. I mean, it's still ninth position or 7, but but yeah, you don't need to take a risk and jeopardize your position. You're in a good spot. Just take your time, wait your turn.
So we haven't talked a lot about a few drivers. One of them is Argenis Riera, who is
who are you? I don't know him. I haven't seen him that race. Who are you talking about? Argenis Riera?
Put it this way: he's completed 48 laps, and Josh Mills has only completed 47 laps so far.
Yeah.
So that just shows
33 seconds in front. Yeah.
We've seen before Riera's pace in qualifying be electric and then kind of disappear in the race, and that has not happened today. Today, he has kept every single one of those 1 second a lap advantages.
Yep. Well, Riera, I think, wants to make a statement. He had unfortunate events in the previous 2 races. Now, I think he needs that good performance, and Mills being in second position still has a good cushion right now. I mean, 19 points. That's a lot of points to play with for a few races in order to keep that lead. But if Riera's, operating on that level all the time and does not have all these mishaps, he will regain the championship within, I think, maybe four races if he finished first and Mills second.
That's also providing that Mills finishes second in every single race. He's had to fight tooth and nail for today.
Exactly. And you got Magus Revi and Zeke Montero just right there behind them, just reminding them that they cannot make a mistake. And I'm looking at Del Castillo, Van Leeuwen. Okay, there's a back marker fight behind, so we don't have that red indicator of a fight. But yeah, for 8 and 9 right now, that's what we're watching.
I think that probably is the best battle. I'm just watching Mills trying to go through traffic. In fact, actually, he's coming up on this fight.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing I was watching. I thought it might have been let on
from Josh Mills. Oh, what a good move from Cliff to get out of the way early on, because now you might think that oh, that's crazy to give up that much time. But what he's done now is he's put the ball right back in his opponent's court and been like, you know what? I'm already out of the way. Now I can try and stick as close as I can to Mills. And at some point, Castillo, he's going to have to let Mills by. So
look how much he lost. Cliff he's nowhere to be seen. I don't understand how he lost that much of a gap. It's incredible.
It looked almost like a lag situation. Like he seemed to. He jumped off the page.
I think he also let a Ferrari go by, which would be Worrell, I think. So So let's say Worrell is. So you got Mills on the lead lap, and you got Worrell a lap behind, but still a lap in front of Van Leeuwen. So that's it. You know, he was getting lapped by 2 cars, but those 2 cars were not in a direct fight with each other. So that's what happened with Cliff.
Something we got to talk about now. So there's 21 laps remaining, and skies are getting darker. I'm not opera singing yet, but skies are getting darker. These tires are getting towards the end of their life. Some interesting decisions to be made here between Mills and Magasrevi, because they're both on the same tire, both relatively the same age. It looks like Magasrevi struggling with his more than Mills is, but that also could just be traffic, as I see a car in front doing a different circuit. I don't know which circuit he's driving. Answers on a postcard, please. But Magasrevi will hopefully get past him pretty quickly. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Does Magasrevi try and get the undercut and pit early, but then risk rain and have to pit again? Well, there is a point where he doesn't have anything to lose, though, because Montero is so far behind him.
Well, do you think they can also go till the end on these tires, like we've seen from in other races? Okay, so
is that the fastest way to do this race?
I don't know. Sure. Exactly, because you need that. This is a tire track. I mean, you have so much corners. I'm looking at the G forces generated by the cars is between 1.5 to 4 Gs depending on the corner. So that's a lot of stress to sustain with the tires. But what is the pit delta? That's the other question. About 20 seconds?
Well, we saw that Magasrevi did not manage to pull. Got overcut by Josh Mills last time. Which is, whenever you see the overcut, that's interesting, because not typically what you would see. You would usually see the undercut be more effective, but traffic is such a big deal here too. Neither of these guys are going to blink yet. Mills doesn't need to, because he's pulled out a 6-second gap, so Mills can just wait to see what Magasrevi does.
Richard Haney on John Cook, start-finish straight. Easy peasy with the DRS Open. So Richard Haney in the points, and Cook fighting out. Oh, okay, so Cook didn't want to give up that position that easy. And look who's coming, Zeke Montero right behind them. So this is nice, because we have legit battles. Oh, Richard Haney almost lost it at the exit of third, and look at Zeke Montero arriving like an arrow.
We almost had a new name. We almost had Haney happen, because I think that's what happens, right? If you crash at a certain turn, like the Wall of Champions, I think that was because who was the first champ that crashed at that wall? I wonder, but was it Villeneuve?
Oh, no, that's not Villeneuve. I think it might have been Schumacher. I have a list. If you give me 1 second,
I'll be right back.
I got a list.
Oh, time to sing! It is at 1% rain, ladies and gentlemen. 1%. But that means there is more rain coming. This race just got more exciting.
Did I hear singing when I was away?
La 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 la. 1% rain.
Well, I got there. Okay, so famous names.
Spitting is what it is. It's gently spitting.
You're right. Oh, this is nice. I want to go on board, maybe just to see. Yeah, I see the rain on the cars. So what percentage of rain?
2%.
Okay, but when do you actually go into pits?
Not yet. This won't affect them yet, but it will affect you mentally, trying to keep your foot down. But 2% rain would have to rain for a long time to be a real effective. But usually that percentage goes up quite quickly. So really interesting. The one thing you can't do right now is dive into the pits for intermediate tires, expecting more rain, because we see that mistake time and time and time again in racing, that you can't make that call at this point. You have to wait until the track at least starts to get slightly damp.
And while we're waiting on pit stops and maybe crashes to happen, I want to point out again that wall of champions, because it would say the wall on the outside of runoff from final chicane is known as the wall of champions and is notorious for claiming several top class drivers. Keep that in mind. I said top class drivers. So you got Derek Warwick, Jack Villeneuve, Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, Rubens Barrichello, Jenson Button, another champion, Juan Pablo Montoya, Sebastian Vettel, Gerhard Berger, David Coulthard, and they put Pastor Maldonado's name on that. Top class driver. I know he won a race. I know he won a race in Spain. I know that, but still.
That's funny.
Yeah, sorry, I had to point it out. So, no active fight right now on the track. Riera with the fastest lap at a 1:11.1, which is not going to be beaten since we have temperature going down right now, or the rain's going down, pouring down. And
it's still only 2%. So I didn't use my best singing just for 2%. Like, come on now, we need we need more than that. We want some slippery, sliding slopiness coming and having like a little bit of drift session. Let's do that Zandvoort drift. So Riera pitted because Riera, did he pit? He lost a lot of time.
Yeah,
yes,
he was 30 seconds in front of Mills, so he's probably on new slicks.
It's raining 3% now, so it's gone very slowly. But Riera did pit, so he decided to not try and gamble out this rain, and he just went and got a new set of boots. Doesn't want to make the same mistake he did in Imola, of course.
No, definitely not. But you don't want to do that extra lap. That you don't want to do a Lando Norris.
Yes, no. So let's keep an eye on the lap times now, because now you've got 4% rain, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is double what we just had. So
1:13 last lap for Riera.
So let's keep an eye on the times. What did Mills do? Still in the 12s, low 12s.
Yeah,
so
totally. This is risky. I'm on board with Riera. I want to see in the driving if there is any challenge with that, water on the track. Doesn't seem to be any traces of accumulation on the track right now, even if you got a little bit of water on the car that you can see from the graphics. And there's no active fight again on track. You got 5 drivers on the lead lap. Lalancette scoring good points for Red Bull. They're going to take a serious options.
Magus Ferry had a bad last lap of a 14.9. Now, was that traffic or was that water? This is getting interesting. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. Another 13.2 for Riera. So Riera's not finding the same amount of grip that he once did. It's 6% rain, so it's continuing to grow and build. So we may end up with a situation here where these drivers do have to pit for mediums.
Totally. and I wish we had enough rain, so they would have to make a decision.
And what about if Josh Mills didn't pit, and Argenis Riera did pit, and then the rain stopped? You know what I mean?
Like, that would be such a...
That would be just another thing to put in the journal of the season. But I mean, Riera at this point is in the best case scenario because he has a 17-second gap where he can afford to pit one lap later than Mills.
Someone's in the pit. Somebody, Janos Magasrevi just put the intermediate.
Inters. Yeah, there's a Ferrari out there with Inters too. Bill Worrell's got Inters on.
Okay, so now we got something.
Now we will see.
I'm
Mills'
looking at
last lap time,
Mills.
though, was a 12.8. I'm surprised they're taking Inters at this point. They'll probably get away with it because it is still raining, so Mills will now have to put for Inters this lap.
Well, Mills slid a little bit getting out of the chicane.
Yeah, Riera's in. Riera's in for the Inters.
Okay, yeah, that's safe.
And here comes
Mills as well. Mills as well. So,
yep.
We won't see what you wanted to see. We never know. I mean, it's raining.
No one's going to. Oh no, there is a brave man. There's a brave man out there, and the brave man is Juan del Castillo. He's not a man that runs in the fear of rain. He's going to go around and do another lap on the medium tires. He passed the pit lane, which was surprising. Right. The rain is still growing. It's 10% more now. So I think it's really going to start to struggle.
Okay, I'm seeing something on my screen. I'm sure it's not accurate, but I see Josh Mills with mediums. I don't think it's accurate.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he took mediums.
But you know what? I wish it is.
Maybe he did because he also.
Okay, change color. He's on the Inters.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Jas. Thank you, Jas, for just spoiling everything and tell us exactly the good compound. We wanted to see if it turned green, and it did. But our producer just told us 2 seconds ahead of time.
So what time are these guys doing on the Inters? Because 12.8 was the time on the softs. But obviously that was not at 12% rain. So it looks like this is going to be the right call because the rain
Castillo, Del Castillo going for it. But John Cook still on the medium, but yeah, he's slowing down a lot. So now you got too much rain, I think, to be able to maneuver with the slicks.
Now you would need it to stop raining to see whether drivers would want to stay on the intermediates till the end. So now if you can do the opposite of a rain go away dance, maybe.
I think you have to walk on your hands. Oh, look at that! I'm watching Cook. Is it Cook? Yeah, I'm watching John Cook and almost lost it in the last corner. So yeah, I think it is time.
Definitely time. Riera still 16-second lead over Mills, so still fairly comfortable.
Yeah, that hasn't changed.
Just the challenge alone, though, if the rain keeps building and this track gets wetter and wetter, of course it's going to create more of a challenge for the drivers because this is not really the circuit that you would particularly think you would enjoy driving in the rain.
Through that, and Riera has to negotiate with Lynn Cooper, but I mean, he probably won't pose any resistance. Yeah, exactly.
So something's interesting
here. Another way.
Because Montero is actually only 6 seconds behind Magasrevi now. So Magasrevi lost a lot of time. He's 15 seconds behind Josh Mills.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What happened there?
Montero now is back into play. The rightful number one driver in the Mercedes team is back into play on his teammate. Whoa, Montero with a slide around turn 3. It's getting tricky out there for these drivers.
Yeah, it's getting more and more slippery. Lots of water on the track, so looks like the rain is still pouring down very heavily. So I doubt that we're going to see any sunshine till the end. Never know, but I think the slicks are out of the question. Nobody's gonna put some slicks on. It's too close, man. I mean, 10 laps, 10, 11 laps at the speed they're going, I doubt it.
Ain't no sunshine where he's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
And Mills is actually catching Riera slightly, but not enough. So it looks like this Montero-Magasrevi battle is going to be the battle. But honestly, we're going to keep Yas on his toes because anybody can put it in the wall at any minute. So not too sure who we're supposed to be watching, really. So
yeah, but usually we have those with the overlay. Oh, look at that. There's accumulation of water on the inside line of the first corner. So now you're starting to see these little lakes on track, so we have to avoid that in order to have
just watching Josh
losing
struggling like crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Riera is just negotiating everything like it's nothing. So I was watching Riera myself and it was like a walk in the park.
Let's keep an eye on Josh Mills here.
Yeah, I'm doing it. He's correcting all the time.
Up in the wall, like this is getting ugly for Mills. He is catching Riera, funnily enough, so maybe he's just going too fast.
Really? Is he really? You're right. But look at that! Look at those little bodies of water around the track on each side of it. Safety car to put the rain back. Yeah, to put the race back on track. Yeah, maybe. But there's no safety car in the SimRacingHub F1, I think. So.
Just the RFactor in general, the safety car doesn't.
Yeah.
Mills is going to be very, very careful here because, I mean, he's got some electric speed, but
it's easy to lose control and lose that steady second position. He isn't. I mean, if something has to happen for him to claim victory, it's not going to be from him. It's going to be from Riera doing making a mistake or a back marker or something. So Mills just have to hit his marks, keep his speed, finish in the position he's at, and maybe just hope for a disconnection or another unfortunate event on Riera's side.
You know what? I've agreed with you since the day I was born here on this channel. But now I'm going to disagree with you for one thing, thing only. Because of there's a rain, Riera wouldn't need to go off the circuit for very long to all of a sudden bring Mills back into play for the win of this race as he goes.
Ooh, yeah, you saw the same thing as I did, yeah.
So, it's not over until the lady sings. And,
yeah, but 15 seconds and 8 laps. I mean, if Mills pushes the issue, he has more to lose than to gain by just trying to catch Riera, which has no issues driving-wise. Has been leading that race 15 seconds in front, has the fastest lap. So it's damage limitation, as we said. If Mills just pushes the issue, he has so much to lose. And he would actually lose the lead in one race instead of just maybe keeping that little cushion that he has. That's where that's my position.
That's right. I mean...
Oh, whoa, we got a fight between Higgins, Oppenheim, and Cook. For 11, 13, we haven't seen that mark on the overlay since for a few laps right now. So
you can see the spray.
Yeah, the rooster tails are quite heavy. But look, Sean Higgins is on the heavy wets. I think he just wanted the tires to fit the color of his car.
Yeah. The wet's usually not a good tire, but I mean, it is raining. You would think heavy enough for the wets, but in general, the wet's just really not a good tire in real life and in.
Yeah, they have to do something about that. They have to address that. But they said to look at Higgins, he almost lost it, and Zeke Montero as well. Montero almost lost control right there, and he has Juan Del Castillo behind him. It's not for position, but still, Del Castillo has an agenda, and Montero the rooster tails. It's because the tire companies, they can do whatever. I mean, they can produce tires that evacuates more or less rain. They're just playing with, because we never see the wet tire. So when they have to use the wet tire is because it's raining too much and they're just stopping the race now because it's too dangerous according to them. But back in the day, they were racing with heavy wets and they were going with it. So I just don't get it. But Pirelli said it. They could do a tire according to whatever demand that the FIA or F1 has. Well, Higgins and Oppenheimer.
The concern is how much spray would get thrown into the air.
Yeah, that's
visibility. So the tire would be so good at moving water that it would just throw it into the air, and visibility would be zero.
What is that? There's a Red Bull in the pits, and that's Josh Mills. What's happening? Mills is in the pits.
He's going for full wets. He thinks he can get out in front of Janos Magosrevi, which he might be able to. But that's
I think he had the gap, but
I guess he feels like he's done enough practice that it's worthy of the full wets. He is going to force Argenis Riera's hands to stay on the inters now, because if he's going to pit, he's going to have to do it this lap, otherwise he's going to lose too much time. So Mills has obviously done some practice here on these wets to think that this is the right tire to go with.
Well, let's look at the gap. So it's 30 seconds, maybe 31. And this is a cool call. I mean, as we said, he has nothing to lose. He kept his position. Now he's still 3 seconds in front of Janos Magosrevi. And look at that, already reducing the gap. Oh, look, I think Riera's in the pits, responding to the call.
Well, that's the beauty of being out front, is he can do that.
Yeah, he can react to that.
Lose.
So
he is going to lose some time potentially. He might only come out 10 seconds ahead, which again, you're leaving yourself a little vulnerable if you make a small mistake, but Riera doesn't make mistakes, so that you don't have to worry about that.
Not much. Let's look at the gap. 15-ish.
We'll see what that kind of goes down to. It looks like he's got away with pretty much the same gap, so Mills wasn't able to gain from his little adventure into the pits. Magosrevi is right behind Mills, but of course on we think a worse tire. But it is raining less now. That's not going to be enough time to dry, I don't think, to hurt those wet tires. So I think it was probably the right call. Just interesting that he felt to make that call. It will be interesting to ask him the reason for it, whether it was just the car was easier to drive and finish P2, or whether there was some type of an attack thought in mind on P1.
Maybe both, because I mean, if you feel that you really have to put the wet tires, there's a control issue. And
we did say that. Yeah, his car looked a little skittlish.
And we'll have them in the interview at the end of the race. If they will have Riera, Mills, and Janos, if they keep their position. There's 5 laps to go right now.
This one I don't agree with. Cliff Van Lee Ward has come into the pits and given up P9 to Richard Haney just to get the wet tires on, versus the old. So that one I don't quite understand, because it's only 4 laps to go and you're giving up a point. So that's an interesting call from.
But look at the time. There's 5.5 seconds. So in 4 laps or 5 laps, maybe Cliff can regain that. Well, he could regain that position, but I don't see. I mean, he's not going to catch 8th position. So
I mean, if you look at Mills and Magosrevi, Mills is not pulling away from Magosrevi at any great speed to think that the wet tire is so much better than the intermediate tire, I believe. Let me just make sure that I'm not lying here. No, 22.2 for Magosrevi, and Mills is at 20. So 2 seconds, maybe.
Well, Cliff is losing time right now on Richard Haney, so that's not a good call so far.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a mistake, I think, but still a good drive from Cliff if he can bring home points.
Of course.
A point, should I say, singular.
Yeah. Well, that's covers, I think, the transportation fees. Yeah.
The Lalansette's in the pits. Does that mean that Cooper's going to overtake Lalancette?
Yeah.
He is. What is going on here, guys? Pitting with 3 laps to go is a very strange move.
Yeah.
When you're just to get Did Lalancet even put the wet tires on? I'm assuming he did. We just haven't changed yet.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll see the color change, but that's surrendering good points for no apparent reason.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't look to be that wet in order to do that. Yeah, this is going to be a question that we will ask our drivers, because that's interesting. There's a few lakes here and there on track, but okay, he's still on the green tires, but it should switch, within a few seconds, I guess. Yeah, maybe Jas could tell us. He knows. What about Jas? Could you tell us if Lalancet's on the wet or the inters right now? What you see in your screen? Because so far he's still in the green tires. So why would he have to switch? Maybe did they cook the intermediate so much because they put it maybe too soon in the race and they have no tread anymore?
Possibly, but I mean, still, I'm not pitting with 3 laps to go. This is you're not giving up points, and you're giving up 2 points there. And they always said, by the way, on Cliff, they always say, it's a good race if you finish in the points, right? They never say it's a good race if you finish in the point. So 10th is not a good race. 9th is a good race. So that's the thing.
Yeah, he's getting time though. He's like 5 seconds, 4.8 on Haney. So just catching a little bit on Richard Haney. Don't know what's going on. Maybe the intermediates are getting a little bit tired. Let's put it. No pun intended.
Yeah, the rain is also it has lessened. It's down to 15% from 20, but it's still raining, and that's the key thing. So long as it is still raining, then it's not drying up. So you don't have to worry about the wet tires, the extreme wets being cooked. So 2 laps to go, I think, for Riera. He gets the fastest lap of the race. Mills has got the gap down to 9.3. So Mills' speed on the
very decent, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder whether that car has been set up more for rain.
Perhaps, but the problem with that is there was not that much rain in the race. And I'm looking at Cliff's time. Now he closed the gap on Richard Haney to 3.3 seconds. But, I mean, we're arriving at the end of that race while Josh Mills is lapping Cliff for another time. For a third time, that is.
Like Magus Trevi is going to hold on as the rightful number 1 driver in the Mercedes team. Nice try, Montero, but Magus Trevi had that covered all day long, and I knew it.
Yeah, so of course.
Another 3rd place for Magus Trevi. How many 3rd places is that now?
Well, I think he's subscribed to the 3rd place. 3rd place club or clubhouse. Let's put it that way.
We might be wrong here, because Lalancet has caught up Glenn Cooper.
Oh, this is gonna get
so let's see whether Lalancet can get those points back from Cooper. Is this the last lap for them? Probably one more lap. Where is Riera? Riera's going to cross the line. Oh, he's going to enter the last lap. This lap. Yeah. So there is one more lap to go.
Yeah, because what we have on top. Yeah. What we have on top is Riera's situation. Let's put it that way. Lalancet is arriving like a mad train on Glenn Cooper within a second, but there's no DRS involved now with rain conditions. Still, the draft is real.
Another factor here: Cooper is British. You can't overtake a British guy in the rain. It just doesn't happen. I know that Lalancet has the French blood.
Yeah, he's a Quebecer. We have snowstorms, rain, and everything. I mean, Quebecers have nothing to envy on slippery conditions against a Brit.
Here we go. This is England versus France right here. This is the battle. Come on, Cooper. You gotta hold on. I don't know how he's gonna do it.
Oh, look at that! Like if
the grip.
Yeah, this is the last lap, I think. So it has to happen at some point during this lap, or otherwise.
And Riera's going to come through to win, but we have to keep an eye on this fight. This is a great fight.
Yeah, exactly. We want action. So Cooper's in the grass. Look at that. Oh, talk about a Brit going lawn mowing.
Oh, no.
Jean-Pierre Lalancet taking the 5th position. out of Glenn Cooper for McLaren.
So, I always told you that the French were the best in the rain. So
yeah, exactly, huh? But I think Jean-Pierre Lancette might be French-Canadian.
So the Canadians are best in the rain.
Canadians were good in the rain, that's for sure. We're used to slippery conditions. We're used to snow, and so yeah.
And something interesting here, by the way. Mills only finished 5 seconds behind Argenis Riera.
So well done by them.
Do we have and the funny thing about that is, if he would have finished less than 5 seconds, there's always a risk that Riera would have picked up a 5-second penalty for something.
Yeah.
So great job from Josh Mills. Just electric pace on the rain.
Exactly. Look at all the spread that they had, and then it comes back to a 5-second gap in the end. So are they still fighting, Cliff and Richard Haney? Is it still going on?
No,
I don't think it is.
No, it's not going. So we were 1 for 1. It was a good move for Lalancette, and it was a bad move for Cliff Van Leeuwen. So very interesting calls. Definitely made the end of the race entertaining, though. No doubt about that.
True that.
So Riera hangs on from Josh Mills. Probably feels like he had it covered the whole way, but he was 33 seconds ahead at one point.
Yeah, but I think there might have been a pit stop. There was a pit stop that wasn't made at that point. I think Mills pitted, and maybe Riera didn't at this particular moment.
So after all that, we get Argenis Riera winning from Josh Mills, the same 1-2 pretty much for most of the season. Riera closes 7 points on Mills in the championship, so that would leave his lead at 12. So Mills will be very happy with coming out of this race, getting out of Dodge, which we already talked about. Yeah. And Yanis Magusrevi, of course, finishes third. Montero does a good job for Mercedes, gets some points in fourth place. Lalancette with another great drive in P5, and crucial for the Constructors' Championship, of course.
Yeah.
Glenn Cooper, the Rainmaster himself, usually. He finished P6, so still a good race. Bill Worrell, always in the points, it seems like these days, in 7th. Juan Del Castillo.
Yeah, good performance by Del Castillo.
Yeah, good performance back because he had that issue. Haney did what Haney does, which is score points. And Cliff Van Leeuwen gets, I think, his first points of the year in the AlphaTauri. So he does manage... point of the year in the AlphaTauri, and does manage to hang on.
Do you think that's his first point of the year? Cliff? Yeah, he has... No, he had a total of 2 coming into that round. So, yeah. Maybe he might have finished 10th twice, or maybe 9th once. That's what I have. That wraps up the top 10. And, well, this was interesting. Good damage limitation by Josh Mills. I think the drivers will be joining us in a few seconds. And you were talking about the team standings. So, because we were talking about it during the race, and then we got stopped because it was a fight. But Red Bull Racing dominating right now on Aston Martin, and then increasing the gap right now. And then Mercedes is leading, not by much, on McLaren, but today they're scoring points because we have a DNF for one of the McLaren drivers. And Scuderia Ferrari in 5th position, a long way behind McLaren. So it's really a fight between 1st and 2nd, which I don't think it's going to turn around because Ricardo Sr. is not producing any points for Aston Martin Aramco Racing. So that's unfortunate for Riera on that token. Now, Mercedes and McLaren, that's the for 3rd position, the 3rd step of the podium. That's what we want to really watch for the Drivers' Championship. As you know, and the season is... we're more in the season. There's less to do there. We have done we have done more there it is to do right now. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races left till the end of the season. And
next week.
Exactly, Monza next week. Same hours, same channel. So don't forget to come here. we're still waiting on the drivers to come and chat with us.
We are here.
Drivers are here.
Oh, are they here? Oh, it's because I have a problem with my earphones. I don't hear people coming in Discord, and I haven't heard any sound, during the race.
Hey, guys.
So, hey, what's up, guys? So, yeah, everybody's here. So we were actually meeting. First of all, congrats on the good race. There was a lot of action. We forecasted maybe more DNFs, but there was a few entanglement at the beginning. But at the end, with the rain, me and Matt were quite wondering like what led to the full wet change at the end. So we're gonna start maybe with maybe Mills, or I think maybe you were the first to change because I think Riera reacted. So what led to that tire change at the end? Why didn't you stay on the inters with that rain?
It was a gamble.
Okay.
I didn't know what they were going to be like, but I had a free pit stop. I had a gap to Janos behind, so I said, why not? It was still raining pretty heavy at that point, so I figured the track was going to get wetter and wetter, and it did. Ended up being a good call.
Yeah, well, there was a few drivers that did it prior to you, but back in the field. So we saw that from other drivers, and we say, okay, they might know something that we don't, and maybe the car with inters is getting a lot harder to drive, and maybe some people put the inters really early, and they might have cooked them because we know it. It can wear pretty hard. So, but of course, Riera reacted to that move, so we covered that. But we saw a few drivers, but you at the end you were really close to him. So congrats on that gamble, because it made us really enjoy that end of the race.
If only the rain came 10 laps earlier.
Yeah, on that point, did you set your car up for rain, or did you think about rain in any way on the setup of the car? Because it did seem like you were faster than Riera was when the rain came.
Could you tell I set it up for the rain? I was pretty slow in the draw. I had a lot of downforce on the car. So,
yeah, well, it obviously just in qualifying again, and then it didn't seem to have the same pace that Riera did, and then when the rain came around. So I'm gonna ask Riera, first off, congratulations, and you can translate for me. But the one thing I want to know from Arjen is this race versus Imola. In Imola, controlling the race, the rain didn't come. In this race, controlling the race, the rain did come. Did that have any impact on your choice of tires at any point during this race? Did you do anything different this race? Whether it be use the two compounds earlier on, was that in your thought at all of whether the rain would come?
Well, I'm going to try to. We know that the rain is coming, so I try to put the better tires almost all the race. Then I put the medium tire because the rain is not coming yet. So that is the medium tire was very, very, very bad for me. So it was better with the track time lower. So that is
when you put the medium tire on, did you do it because you wanted to make sure you use both compounds in case, or did you do it to stretch out the life longer?
Yeah, in case it's no rain. So
okay,
I was covered because of that.
It worked.
But the pit stop was very short, so I had a free stop at the end. So
for sure.
Well, in that regard, since we have you here, Argenis, is that what happened in Imola? Did you expect rain, and that's why
no,
you didn't?
In Imola, I didn't know that the hard tire could do the all second stop. So
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, we were
I thought
wondering.
wasn't going to do the at the end.
And about Janos, good race. Seriously, you fought with Josh for quite a while, and then after that exchange, I think you lost a little bit of ground. So can you inform us of what happened? Because me and Matt, we were watching, but we have yet to figure out what happened with that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was close. He made the overcut work. He pitted and then exited in front of me, and we were both with the medium tires, and that lasted for a long time. And then I started feeling, a loss of grip. It was actually affecting me on the turn before the oval section. I started losing some ground. I made the pass. I did not plan on making a pass, so that actually worked out. I don't know. I extended the braking, and it worked.
Bold.
Yeah,
it was bold.
It wasn't my intention, and then when I tried, okay, I'm gonna have to stick to this now. It didn't last
then
too
Mills
long.
defended the second time. When you came back around the next time, Mills was like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna."
But it was close. It was going to be a
inside.
close fight. I just had some encounters with some traffic, and
yeah.
that put me outside of the DRS, and that pretty much cost everything to me. So.
Yeah, we thought this could go on for a while. So yeah, that's what I said. We were really enjoying that fight. So thank you for providing us
I
such
bet
a
it
battle.
was fun, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
And then the inters. I mean, I had to stick with the inters at the end. It was very slippery at the end. I could tell these guys made the right call with the wets, even though they had to make one more pit stop. But very slippery. I lost it a couple of times, and I said, okay, I'm gonna just hang on and bring it home.
Yeah, me and Matt were quite surprised because a few drivers surrendered steady points going in the pits 5 laps till the end and just do that wet weather tire gamble, but they surrendered 20 seconds and they lost positions. So I think what happened, Matt, one driver reclaimed the position, but that was because the McLaren that's Lalancette, I think. Lalancette reclaimed his position because the McLaren lost control in the grass. But on the other hand, Cliff lost the spot.
The inters were just too hard to control at the end, right?
Yeah, that's Cooper. Cooper went in the grass and Lalancette. Yeah, Lalancette got that. Sure. So we got Monza in a week. So probably a more exciting track. You guys are probably more excited, I guess, because it's going to be a track where there's going to be a lot more fighting. So are you guys ready for that race? Starting with Mills, maybe?
Yeah, it'll be exciting. It's tempo of speed, so everybody will be in low downforce, I'm sure. And
is it going to be zero? Is it going to be max low downforce? Do you think?
Probably, yeah.
We'll see come practice. I'm sure. I'm sure we'll test it.
Yeah, but you guys don't practice let's say you have Zandvoort, so you don't practice Monza before you have finished. You're finished with Zandvoort, I presume, right?
No, I haven't turned any laps yet at Monza. But looking forward to it. It's a fun track. I think it's been a good one for me in the past, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Janos will provide us with the previous year's pole and winner, so we'll know ahead of time who has had success in that race. But can you guys remember who was the winner from last year?
I'm actually checking right now. It was Josh.
Was it Josh? I thought it was
Josh won last year, and then Otto, Ezekiel. Yeah, it's been a mixed results. But yeah, I mean, it's a good track to have battles. But I've never been a fan, believe it or not. I just hate those chicanes. I mean, the first chicane, I hate it. I despise that turn.
What are you saying right now?
I hate it. I mean, these cars are too large for that turn. I mean,
you didn't like the chicane here. It was funny because the chicane at the end of the lap is the turn 11 or something like that. That chicane. Mills versus you. You stayed 10 feet away from the curb, and Mills just went straight over the top of it. It was so funny watching you both take that chicane. It was like completely different ways of doing it.
Well, I mean, that depends on the balance of your car, because if you jump and it moves too much, then you lose the rear.
Yeah.
So my car couldn't handle those type of riding
Well,
the
you've
curve.
got
So, yeah.
7 days to get this.
Yeah,
fixed, so.
yeah. I mean, let's see. Hopefully, it doesn't rain in Monza, but yeah, it's usually a good fight, and at least we're gonna have long enough straights to make passing because this one was
lots of
quite short.
DRS. Well, thank you guys for being here for a good race, because that's not a easy circuit to overtake on. So you kept us on our toes for quite a while here. So thank you for that. So we're gonna see you guys in a week in Monza. I really encourage everybody to come back and see us on GTCQ TV. So this is Sim Racing Hub F1. On the RFactor platform. It's sponsored by Color Magic Printing. So to wrap things up, Matt, do you have a last word that you want to say to our viewers or drivers before we go to bed and just dream about next week's
who's the
race?
driver of the day?
Oh yeah, we forgot. Who's the driver of the day? We haven't yet to talk about that. You know what? I'm gonna give it to maybe Lalancette, because he scored good points for the Red Bull team again. So
I'm gonna give it to Mills, just because I think that obviously Riera, the real driver of the day, got the most points from the day, fast lap and the win. But at the end of the day, I think that Mills, whether he'd set the car up for rain or what, it seemed like second place was probably the best result you could have got today, and you got it, and you still got the lead of the championship, and you're on to Monza. So.
yeah, starting from fourth, I think too. So yeah, but good points for the Red Bull team. So as I said, thank you.
Red Bull is the driver of the day. There you go.
Yeah, Red Bull is the driver of the day. Thank you, everybody on the live, for coming. Oh, F1 podcast just joined at the end there. Marty Simon, thank you for joining. I'm going to read your comments. Best race broadcast, Joe. Yeah. Thank you very much. But yeah, come back in a week. We'll have a good race in Monza. I promise you. There's just a few rounds left in the season. Don't miss it. There's 6 rounds left for the end of the season. A good battle between McLaren and Mercedes for the 3rd spot on the team championship, and still very much in the mix, the drivers championship for 1st and 2nd. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you Jazz in the production booth. Thank you Color Magic Printing for sponsoring that championship, and we'll see you guys in a week. Bye bye.